Happy Wednesday. Thank you for coming to my impromptu birthday party. Matthew and Jen and Jeff, and I love seeing everybody. Let me know where you're hopping in from, or maybe, just maybe, we could do something like your favorite. Why don't we do your favorite birthday cake or your favorite cupcakes? I'm a red velvet type of gal myself, but would love to, in addition to knowing where you guys are coming in from, what your favorite cake treat is. Thank you so much for taking the time to show up today. Hi, Philip. Hi, Jim. This makes me so excited. And really, I was just kind of needing this. I don't know about you guys, but obviously I miss being in the office. Obviously, I miss being around other humans. And it hit me especially hard with my birthday on Monday, because I realized, there's no sort of conference room cupcakes or conference room cake. There's none of that in coronavirus because you're by yourself working from home, or you're trying not to get near people. And so, hey, Fernando from Brazil, amazing. And Francis from Quebec, hi. Thank you for coming. I really was missing like the camaraderie of the birthday in the conference room with like, okay, we have 20 minutes to pop in, shove some cupcakes and cookies in our mouth, and then get back to work. So I was really excited to have this time with you today in this weird new post-COVID world we're living in, to have a virtual conference room birthday party. Robert, chocolate is also, that's always a solid go-to. Those are always the first to go in the conference room for sure. They never last long. I appreciate you guys being here. Yes, Jen, I have so many lovely flower deliveries that came. I felt so loved yesterday and today. So feeling and smelling all the love here. And if you didn't know, I turned 35. I'll admit it, that's 35 years of wisdom right here. Even though we're trying to look 25, indeed 35. And so I decided, because why not pile more things on my plate? Duh. That I was going to do 35 things to challenge myself. I have been feeling really sort of stuck and just kind of with coronavirus and just kind of like poopy. And I don't know if I can say that on here, but I'm saying it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm turning 35. I'm going to pick 35 things that I've never done before. Some of it that I can do here in New York City, and some of it that can be done virtually with other people, maybe, just maybe, who are crazy enough to want to join me. And so I set out on this 35 adventure challenge over on my Instagram. It's not really LinkedIn appropriate. I don't know. It's always hard to find the line between like work and personal, especially now that we're work from home / live from work. I can never really tell. So I did it on Instagram. I didn't do it on LinkedIn, but if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's just my name, @KimKaupe. But I think it's going to be really fun. I hope you might join me. I'm definitely going to rope in, Jeff has already committed to being roped into something. So definitely, hopefully going to rope some other people in. Hopefully that can include you. And I just wanted to do this as a way to like get unstuck and sort of say, no, coronavirus, I will still do new things and I will still have adventures. Even if we are in a pandemic, I will do it safely. I will do it with a mask on. I will do all the things, but we still have to have that like hope of adventure. And so I'm really hoping to gain some confidence. I'm hoping to gain some new experiences. I'm hoping to interact on a deeper level with you. If you can join me virtually in some of these adventures, I would so appreciate it and love it. Kelly, yes, I'll totally rope you in as well, because I think it's going to be super fun. But I do have a request. So it's really easy to think of like big adventures, like go visit Ellis Island because I'm here in New York, or the Statue of Liberty. But obviously, we're all still working. We're all still like, I can't just take off a Tuesday and go to, well, I guess I could, but it'd be hard to just take off a Tuesday and run to the Statue of Liberty. So I'm also looking for like small little challenges as well. I've got some really great feedback on Instagram from a lot of people. Things like, since it's a 35 years old and 35 thing challenge, go buy something that's $3.50 and give it to a stranger. I like that one. That made the list. So little things that, obviously in between conference calls or something that I can still do a challenge. So I got some of the big ones off of a great website and Instagram handle, if you don't already know it, called New York Bucket List, at New York Bucket List. And the other one, if you live anywhere in the world, is just at Bucket Listers. I highly recommend it. I don't know if you want to be crazy like me and commit to 35. That seems aggressive. Maybe you want to commit to one or doing one of these with me. That would be really fun. But if you have any easy ones, Jen, I love the idea of a virtual cooking class because I can do it after work. I can do it virtually from home. That is such a great one. If anybody has any other ideas like Jen's, that to me is like the best. If anyone has any things that I could do that are small, that would be awesome. I'm really looking forward to this challenge. I think it's going to be lots of fun. Another thing that I realized during this challenge, and by the way, before I add this last part, I do want to say that if you would like to join me here in live on camera with all of our friends, very shortly, I'll explain how that is going to be possible. So if you want to lick your hair down or do anything like that, start the licking process. Anyways, so before we get to that, I wanted to say that if you have any ideas like Jen, or like Scott, 35 minutes. Oh my God. 5-minute meditation is one thing. 35-minute meditation, maybe if it's guided, are there guided options, Scott? I could do maybe a guided one. Definitely couldn't do it on my own. That would be totally rogue. But I love that idea. If you have an idea, I sort of got inspired by my friend, Gabrielle. I don't know if she's going to be able to join us. She sometimes does, but if you think of something and you want to take charge, like I love it. She literally texted me and was like, hey, we should do stand-up paddleboarding out in New Jersey. I was like, I've never done that. Sounds great. No idea how to get that done. She's like, nope, I got it. I got you. Like, I'm going to organize everything. I'll get locked in. I'm like, I'm along for the ride. So if you already know that there's a virtual cooking class that's freaking awesome and you make homemade pasta, which Jeff already knows how to do that. So maybe it's something else, ice cream or something. Let me know. I don't have all the ideas. I'll jump on your train. So DM me on Instagram or text me. It's 646-585-7291. You can text me any ideas that you have or DM me on Instagram. But if you have any that you're like, this is awesome, I got it together, sign me up. I don't know everything. Like I'll just join in your chugging along train. So I'm more than happy to do that as well. So if you have any ideas for virtual adventures or virtual things or in person, I don't know, I'm good. Okay. So I hope you've licked your hair down. And I'm not pressuring anybody, but if you would like to join me on screen, we are going to do like a fun sort of ask me anything, which I've never done before, but it seems like it could be fun. I also jotted down some lists of things that I feel like I've been getting asked a ton recently. So, but if you'd like to join me, Shelby, my amazing ninja wizard helper star, superstar, rock star, is going to drop a link in the chat. That is a magic link that brings you backstage into our studio. So you'll be backstage with Shelby and I, and then Shelby will kind of get everybody situated, and then the magic will happen and you will pop on screen with me and we can have a little chat, and you can ask me a question or I could ask you a question, and it'll just kind of be like a fun, I don't know, a fun little birthday party, ask me anything. So if you're feeling game, if not, drop questions in the chat. If you're in like a weird place where you're like, I don't know, I don't want to be on camera, or like I didn't wash my hair today or whatever, that's fine. We can definitely do AMA questions in the chat. I love this idea, John, invite 35 friends to a virtual costume party. I am totally adding that to the list. That is perfect for Halloween. So fun, so easy. And like bonus points with my friends with kids. I love seeing little kids in like their little sheep costumes, or, you know, like their little dinosaurs or something. They're just so adorable. So yes, I love that idea. That will totally get added to the list, and it's perfect for Halloween. Done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that idea. And then, Brendan, you're right. If everybody knows you're Spider-Man, what will we do? Yes, if you are a superhero, do not release your face. We can't know. That ruins all the fun. I love it. I see some faces backstage. Shelby's going to work on having you pop on with me. It's going to be really fun. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome to the virtual B-Day party.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
It's awesome to be live on Coffee with Kim.
I love it. Everybody, Jeff, everybody.
I'm a real person.
You're a real person.
Happy birthday.
I love it. I have a cupcake.
Wait.
I have cupcakes. It's a full-blown. Should we do this?
Oh, it's too windy.
We're doing this.
Wait.
I don't even have a candle. Jeff, you would. Ready?
Ready?
Oh, we're going to do it. I'm going to blow on it. Ready?
Yes. Yay.
Yay. I'll reveal my wish to you. When is this over? Is coronavirus over? That's my birthday wish. That's what I'm going with.
Your wish will come true in early summer next year.
Right. You know, we need a lot more wishes. I don't want to tell people how to use their birthday wishes, but I will say if we can get all the wishes towards a common cause, that would be great.
Towards a celebration for next year, for sure.
Exactly. Thank you for my cupcake.
Well, thank you for doing this. This is awesome. I love
it. So fun.
Well, should I ask you a question?
Let's do it.
If you could start over in your career, what would you do differently?
Oh my goodness. If I could start over, and not do what I did, I have to pick something else.
No, even if you want, would you do that again? Would you go straight into
I think I would totally do it again. It's been a wild ride. I think I would totally do it again. If I couldn't, if it was like you had to pick a different path.
Yeah.
I think I would have stayed in events. I really love events. It was where I started doing the big parties, big activations. And there's something about my personality that really likes to see things start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Like cleaning a room. There's something joyful about this room was a hot mess and now I just organized it. And there's something about an event where it's we're going to plan a Super Bowl party. We're going to build a Super Bowl party. We executed a Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
And then we're done. That I found deeply satisfying.
That's cool.
As opposed to my friends who are computer programmers and there's just endless lines of code. You're just never done. Yeah. There's always more. So I like seeing the end.
Awesome.
The end is a good one. What would you do?
I would have done this much earlier. I literally would have started the entrepreneurial journey earlier, but it's all right.
There's always time. There's always time, and you wouldn't have all the knowledge that you have now.
Exactly. Yeah. These are indicators of all the knowledge. Not of age.
Exactly. I love it. Oh, well, I cannot wait for you to join me on one of the 35 adventures. It's going to be really fun.
We're
going to find a good one.
I love it. I haven't been down to the city since this all started. So
virtual. We got to find like a virtual cooking class or something. I love Jen's idea.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. I'll text you when I get it figured out.
Cheers.
I love it. Bye, Jeff. Yep. Thank you. So fun. All right. Shelby, who we got next?
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
How you doing, Kim? Happy birthday.
Thank you. How's it going?
We're doing all right. I tell you, I like Jeff's background a little bit better. I've got to get out of this enclosed, the small cage that I'm in. So
I mean, I think we all feel like that at this point.
I joke with people. I said the office is, you don't so much step into it as you do put it on. It's a very, like wearing this thing. So, we're hanging in.
The commute's not quite what it used to be.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And we've got the COVID beard going on. So, we're hoping to get rid of this as soon as I can. I know my mom would appreciate it.
I mean, I got a haircut for the first time in 9 months, and it felt like a personal win.
Right. Yeah, you can imagine me. I mean, God, tough. Very tough. Oh my goodness. So we've got coffee, black one Truvia.
I love it. I love it.
Got to tell you, I really, really love this hour every week. This is fantastic. So many good ideas coming from you and from people in here. It really is. It's a high octane week. I mean, Jim Quick, some of your guests have been unbelievably good. I mean, just so.
I'm really excited. I'm trying to work on some good ones coming up that I'm like, as soon as they get confirmed, I'm like, we're going to be off to the races. So fun.
Gets the synapses firing for sure.
Me too. It's my favorite meeting the whole week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome. So here's my question for you. I've been recently talking to some people, and they're asking things about me, and I'm telling my story in that I think child, in my case, is father to the man, right? I said, if you go back to the books I read as a kid, you understand where I get the inspiration to do some of the things that I do. And it's ironic that you could go back and you could go, wow, look at where he ended up by reading the books he read as a kid. So child being father to the person, or the woman in this case, what were some of your favorite childhood readings, and did they inspire you to do what you're doing?
I loved getting lost in books. That was I still do, by the way, as an adult. Love getting lost in books. I have this thing where I try to read smart books, because those are like the vegetables. Those are like the broccoli, but I have to get in some ice cream and then kind of pull myself away from the ice cream and get back to the broccoli, because I love entire worlds that are built. So growing up, I read a lot of Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, Boxcar Kids, if you remember those series. I just loved these worlds, and I loved that there were multiple series, multiple books in the chat. I read a dragon one called Aragon. I think that's what it was called. But that one I loved. So anything, it's probably why as an adult, I still love Harry Potter and anything like that, because you just get lost in these fictional and fun universes. And it's the best. I love it. Escapism at its finest. So yeah, I feel like books, if you can get young people engaged in reading and engaged in books, it's such a game changer, because it is something you will do for the rest of your life. Incredibly true.
Incredibly true. I tell you, I liked what Jim Quick had to say as someone who had, traumatic brain injury and how he struggled with reading as a child and how he was able to overcome that. My own son, he's got some ADHD, and it's a struggle, right? It's a challenge to do that, but boy, the importance of making it happen and doing the work, it totally opens doors that you never even knew were there. So
it's huge. And I feel like the work that Jim is doing in that space is so fantastic, and hopefully going to help so many young people, because I hate when I hear the phrase, I'm not a reader. It pains my heart. I'm like, no, we're all readers. Like you might have to read a little bit different, but we're all readers.
That's it. Just have to learn differently. So true. So true.
I know. Well, thank you for joining the
And it's
birthday
good to have you back in
party.
New York. It sounds like you're back in the city. So
I'm back in the city.
outstanding. Well, hopefully we'll get to do one of these things in real time and kind of in person sooner or later. But
Real life.
now, this is great, and it's such a joy to be in touch with you today. Again, happy birthday to you.
Thank
You got
you.
people over here lined up to talk to you, and
I know. I'm excited.
enjoy, Kim. Good seeing you.
Thank you. Bye. This is so fun. Hi.
Okay, I'm gonna play your song.
So
We
good.
just had a little dance party. Hey, Kim.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I love October birthdays. Mine's next week, so I'm super happy.
Your birthday's next week?
It is. Yes.
When's your birthday?
My birthday is next Monday. I guess it's not
Monday.
this Monday coming. Yeah. So I'm very excited. And I'm 10 years
Yeah.
older than you. How about that exactly? The fives are good.
We're
Good years.
Libra babies. I love it.
That's right. That's right. I'm so excited for you. Happy birthday.
It's, as you know, it's a weird time to be having a birthday, but
Incredibly weird time. Yes.
you got to do it. You got to be like,
Yes.
we're going to do it anyway.
That's right. We still celebrate. There's still joy in the midst of difficulty. And I am continually learning this lesson. And that's what we're doing.
Life is trying to beat it into us.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
I don't learn always easily. So sometimes it's like a 2x4 experience. Here we go. I'm learning it this time.
Right. It's coming. It's coming.
That's right. That's right. So I have a birthday question for you on your AMA. So my question is, you have so many great mentors and friends and people who are around you, but who are the most unusual people that you learn something from? Like you've paid attention, you're so good and curious. Who's somebody that you've learned something from? I did not expect to learn that from that person. How did you learn that?
This is going to sound so strange because it has absolutely nothing to do with my work and it has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but it is something that in COVID times I have found myself getting a little in depth with, which is if you've ever watched Bear Grylls, I have never, I don't like camping. I'm not like an adventure person, but people like go skydiving. I'm like, I don't have wings. God did not want me to fly. Like I'm not a thrill seeker necessarily, but for some reason, Bear Grylls, I'm like, I learned so much from him. I sit on my couch and I'm like, okay, if I'm ever in the Amazon, I will get water from the plant with nothing but a knife. Like, great. And I don't know, as a deeper psychological thing, I don't know if it's that he seems to persevere through so much. Like they'll be like, and then there was a bear, and then there was a tiger, and this guy with this I think it's like an Australian accent or something is like, oh, don't worry, bear, we just got to keep walking fast. And I'm like, what is going on? And so I think it's just that he seems to keep calm, cool, and collected and persevere. That I think to myself, maybe COVID, I need to just look at it as a tiger and be like, I see you, tiger, but we're going to keep going.
I like it.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. And yeah, it's totally different than the Sarah Blakeleys and the, Ariana Huffingtons, the people that I would normally look up to, but I look up to him. And same thing about Mike Rowe. If you remember that show, Dirty Job.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
He has millions of followers on Facebook and stuff. And he's actually a super interesting guy. So that's another one that I oddly am fascinated with.
I like it. Wonderful. My new favorite learning person for leadership is Ted Lasso. And Ted Lasso is a fictional character on a show on Apple called Ted Lasso. And honestly, I've now written 3 different things about the leadership training of Ted Lasso. So
no way.
It's just joyful and goodness and earnest in the best ways. And so Ted Lasso, happy birthday. Go enjoy Ted Lasso.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. You're the best.
Yeah.
Oh, love Ted Ted Lasso. I'm gonna have to Google that. I haven't heard that one. I should have asked. Jen, is that on Amazon or Netflix? I already forgot. Anyway, if you could drop that in, that would be great, so I could know. I will definitely be watching that for sure. All right, Shelby, who we got next? Hello.
Hi. Happy
Hi,
birthday.
Joe.
How are you? I'm good. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Let's go with a little reflection. As we have our birthdays, we like to reflect on things. Tell us about your most embarrassing corporate moment that you've experienced.
There have sadly been so many.
That's why I asked. I'm assuming that there's a lot to choose from here.
Yeah. I'll tell you one that was a big, well, I'll tell you two. One was a big learning lesson for me. It was early in my career, and I was interning at People magazine, and they would always say, and by the way, this is like before Twitter and before, like, you didn't have all of the outlets that you have now. And it would be, they would say, you know, you have to keep up to date with what's happening. And I can remember that morning, this will show you how old this news is, but there was a site called Perez Hilton. That was like a big gossip site. It was big, like you had to read it every morning to like get your news, which is kind of sad. And I didn't read it. And I was put on the spot in the meeting and said, what do you think like should be the highlights of our news story, you know, this coming week? And I had said something when early that morning, Brad and Angelina had announced they were having babies. So like that was like the story, the thing. And I just looked like such a dum-dum in front of this whole group of like people that were extremely talented and extremely smart. So it was definitely something for me that taught me you cannot skip one day. You cannot have one moment where you sort of let up your guard, or you kind of think, oh, I got this. I don't need to like try as hard. You always have to be trying 100% every single day. To this day, I read Billboard Biz, I read Encore, I read Hollywood Reporter every single morning before I get on the call with clients or anything, because if somebody is getting married or somebody's getting divorced or somebody has an album coming out or something, like I need to know about it before I get blindsided by it. So it's a little funny because when I'm reading people.com, people are like, why are you reading that? I'm like, it's work.
It's work. It's work.
That
Yeah.
I'm doing. So that was really sort of embarrassing. And another embarrassing thing was I took a whole meeting once where very naively, I didn't realize until the end of the meeting that they kept asking for my boss, but I own the company. So there was no boss. So I was trying to go with the flow, and they were like, so we love this presentation. You know, we love your proposal. We love what you're doing. How do we take this to the next level? And I was like, well, we just take it to the next level. Like we just do it. We just sign and we go. And they're like, right. But like, who do we need to bring in from your side to take it to the next level? And I kept being like, is this a trick question? Like, are they trying to trick me? And I'm like, no, they're like, we just go. Like, it's just us. Like, we just do this. And finally it got to the point where by the end of the meeting, I actually had to say, I'm sorry, we have to like stop the meeting. Who are you referring to? Because like, I don't understand. And finally someone was like, oh, your boss. And I was like, good news for you. You're looking at her. So we can just get this thing going. But sometimes the most awkward moments are also like the best because they're funny and you get to talk about them later.
Oh, without a doubt. In the moment, you look at it, you're like, I'm not going to live another day. Like, what is going on here? And then,
like, what's
and then you
happening?
learn, yeah, but then you learn from it and you grow and you move on. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. You have to just kind of like roll with the punches. I feel like in business, it's all roll with the punches.
If not, you're going to be eaten alive. We all know that. It's all good.
Exactly. Especially now, like we're all at home. It's COVID. There's like, I was on a call and someone's like naked baby ran across and I was like, there's a naked child, quick, like grab them. It's like, listen, we're in a whole new go with the flow sort of streets.
Yeah. And then Kelly just had a really good comment. Less embarrassing for you, more embarrassing for them. Jokes on them. Like, look at me now. Yeah.
It's true. I mean, it wasn't like I turned 10 shades of red, but you're right, Kelly. Jokes on them.
Right? Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you and happy birthday once again.
I
And
appreciate it.
can't wait to see where the 35 adventure takes us.
You and me
go
both.
from there. Right? It'll be a journey. It'll be a journey. It'll be good.
Thank you. It will be a journey. I'm already like, why did I agree to do 35 things? It was way too aggressive. But we're doing it. Oh well. Here we go. What do we got next, Shelby? Hey. How's it going?
Oh, fantastic. So
Friend?
I'm going to be a little bit more serious and I'm going to ask for some advice.
Okay.
So my question is, whenever you're trying to start a business and there's like 15 things, but there's some things that are really crucial and you don't know anything about them, you know about the other things. How do you start learning about those things that are crucial that you don't know about?
I would say first, do you have to be the one to learn about them? Because if you can get a co-founder or an advisor or a mentor or somebody, another human being that already knows about all of those things, that would be really great. Because then you don't have to learn those things. You can just rely on this other human. So I would say that's number one. If you can't find that other human and you yourself have to learn about those things, I would then say to rank them, which is the most important first. And then again, can you outsource? I'm like all about the outsource life, or if there's a mentor or somebody else, because I just think if you look at the Avengers, you know, there's Wonder Woman, there's Black Panther, there's Iron Man, like Thor, like everybody has their own thing, but then they come together to form like a superhuman pack. So I think it's really hard for one superhero to do everything, although arguably Captain Marvel does a lot, but that's because she's amazing. But arguably even she can't do everything. So if you can find other superheroes that can kind of join you, even if maybe it's in a paid sense, you know, maybe it's you're bringing in an expert or a consultant, maybe it's in a free sense, a mentor or a friend, or maybe it's in a business sense, like a co-founder or some sort of joint partnership. I would say try to find other humans, because I think it's just really hard if there's, I'm making this up, 6 things on your list to become an expert in 6 things. I mean, that's just like tough, in addition to all the things that you already know about the business. So I would say try to find other humans so that you're not putting everything on your shoulder. Because the truth of the matter is, the ultimate goal, if you have a side hustle or start your own company, the ultimate goal is to delegate, which is like the hardest part. And I'm still learning that lesson. It's really hard, because sometimes it's easier to just say, oh, well, I'll just do it. Oh, I do it faster. I'll just do it. Oh, I'll just learn it. But then at the end of the day, you're like, it's 2 a.m. What am I doing up doing this like small stuff? So one thing I'm kind of always saying to myself is like, focus on the big things, not on the small things.
Well, I'm definitely not a superhero, so I've got to find more people.
I mean, I'm not a superhero either, which is why I have Shelby. Thank God. He's like the Robin to my Batman, because it's super tough and you can't do everything yourself. I've tried. It's awful. Like, it's really helpful when you have somebody else. So I would just say that would be my biggest thing. Find other superhero humans.
Gotcha. Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. So fun, right? Kelly, I'm not going to call you out, but I was really hoping to see your face today, but I totally get if you don't want to be on camera. It's fine. I wanted to answer 2 questions that got texted to me from people that said they weren't able to make it, but they were going to watch it later. So I want to make sure that I get their questions in. And one question was, How do I make an impact virtually? So we've been talking this whole time about Zoom calls, about being virtual, and you don't have that sort of in-person magic maybe of catching up with somebody before a meeting, asking about their kids or asking about their weekend. So how do you make an impact? How can you create that sort of camaraderie in a meeting or in a presentation with people that you may or may not know that well? Because usually when everybody signs on, it's kind of like straight down to business. So if you are going to try to do something virtually, here are my biggest tips. Number one, before the meeting, Google every single person that's on the meeting invite. Number two, find their LinkedIn. And I don't care, by the way, if there's 15 people on your Zoom meeting or 8 people on your Zoom meeting. Block off your calendar, 30 minutes, Google every single name. Then once you do that, option number 3, I'm gonna give you an option. Option number 3, when you're looking up their LinkedIn, press the connect button, personalize it with a personal message. That is an option. Don't just press connect. Personalize the message and say, hey, Sarah, so looking forward to our call later today, tomorrow, whatever, to discuss insert whatever it is you're discussing. Boom, send. So you're already sort of creating a rapport with people before the meeting. If you don't want to do it before the meeting, my 4th piece of advice would be do it after the meeting. So again, you get done with a virtual presentation, you look at who was in the presentation, boom. So let's say it's a company-wide, there's 50 people or 100 people in the Zoom meeting, too many people. Pick 10 people, pick 5 people. It can be random, but start that connection process. Because again, if you were in the office, you would have the advantage over if you were sitting in a conference room, whoever is to your left or to your right, you'd probably end up chit-chatting with at some point, but we don't have that because we're all virtual now. So this sort of LinkedIn trick, LinkedIn hack is a great way to create that camaraderie virtually, even if we don't necessarily have it in real life. So, and another great point, Jeff, yes, make sure your LinkedIn is up to date and relevant when you connect. And if you haven't already, I have 5 quick tips that you can do to help your LinkedIn profile look up to date and ready. It's sort of a spring cleaning, if you will, although it's fall. So maybe it's a fall pickup. I don't know what the phrase would be, but if you're interested, it's totally free. It's a free resource on my website. You go to kimkaupe.com. It's right there. It takes like maybe, 30, 45 minutes. And you're not going to want to hear this, but it's something that you're going to want to do like every quarter, every 6 months. I know, everyone's lazy. Nobody wants to do it. Everyone wants to redo their resume when they're looking for their next job. Big mistake. Put time on the calendar. Every quarter, block off an hour, update. It's so much easier when you do it as you go than if you wait till the last minute. So, okay. Anyway, so if you haven't gotten that already, please do that. The next question I got that I want to make sure that I answer is, how do I transition to presenting online? This is really hard for all my salespeople in the room or my marketers in the room that are really good at presenting in person, have a lot of visuals, have a lot of tactical things that they used to show, sales presentations, printouts. Again, we don't have that anymore. So sadly, not really possible to totally do that. So my thing there is how you can really transition to presenting online is twofold. One, you're going to have to get somewhere where you feel ready. And what I mean by that is take the time to prep. Don't rush into it. Get yourself in a room with some decent lighting. Make sure that you can hear yourself. Test out maybe things on camera beforehand. Get comfortable, because if there's one thing that you can always tell in online presentations, you can tell when people are nervous. You really can. You can like feel the awkward energy. So make sure you're in a good headspace. Make sure you are okay and that you're comfortable with what's going on. The second thing, the biggest transition as you go to online, one thing that I have learned is that everything has to be a little extra. And what I mean by that is if you've been on Zoom calls, what you realize that's missing is the nuance. So when you're in person, I'm going to like get a little closer to the camera, but when you're in person and you're in a meeting, you might be able to see somebody go like this, or very slight movements, but you know, like, oh, they don't like that. Or the reverse, they might be like, oh, interesting. But the problem is on a Zoom call, everybody's backed up. Their faces are this big because there's lots of other boxes. So those little cues, you don't see them. So you're missing the cues. So what I would say is if you're doing any sort of presenting online, make sure that any cues that you're showing or as you go through a presentation, you have to kind of be a little bigger than maybe feels comfortable because people just can't see it. You have to remember that you're a box on somebody's screen. So if you want your box to, start having some movement and start having some motion, I'm not trying to make you car sick or like Blair Witch, but you kind of have to be a little bit bigger than you would be maybe in person or if you're just regularly on a Zoom call. So if you are presenting, get to that point where you are a little bit bigger and a little bit more showy maybe with what you're doing. And then I got another text that I also wanted to make sure that I got to. So I lied when I said there was 2, there was 3. And that is, what is New York City like right now? And I feel like I've been getting a lot of questions about what New York City is like right now. And I have to say, the city, it's been so nice to be back. Things are open. They're not totally open. And we do have some outdoor dining. There's not really any indoor dining. I will say sort of my biggest revelation during this whole thing is that I always knew that there were a lot of tourists in New York City. I think if you had asked anybody that, like, are there a lot of tourists? The answer would have been like, well, of course there's tourists, obviously they're going to the Statue of Liberty and they're going to the Empire State Building. I didn't realize just how many, because when the cruise ships stopped coming, when the international flights stop coming, when Broadway gets shut down, when a lot of the museums get shut down, when a lot of the tourism draw is gone and you don't have tourism and you're just really dealing with the people that live here day to day, boy, it's a difference. And I've been putting some of the difference on my Instagram and my Instagram stories as I walk around the city, but it's definitely much more empty than I've ever seen it in the 12 years since I moved here. So that sort of is the most shocking thing for me to really see is, wow. And if I could flip my camera over, I'm looking at the Brooklyn Bridge right now. And to give you an idea, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 5 people that I can see walking across the Brooklyn Bridge. Normally there'd be, no joke, 500. Normally it would just be, it's packed, especially now when the weather's good. It's like 70 degrees outside and sunny. So it is a very weird sight to see, but that's why I'm excited about my 35 thing list, because when I do some of the 35 things, like going to the Met Museum and going to the Whitney Museum, there are not going to be that many people there. So I'm looking at the silver lining, making some lemonade out of lemons. At least that's what I'm telling myself. But yeah, Jeff, exactly. You know exactly how weird it is to see and how strange. So it's definitely a whole new world we're living in. But I was so excited that we got to do this today, you guys. As always, I so love being here with you and love spending time and learning together. And I can't wait to Google Ted Lasso. Thank you again, Jen, and figure out more about that. Next week, we have my friend Max. He is freaking amazing. He started a company named Sales Hacker. It was an email list. It was a company. The email list has over 170,000 subscribers. He sold the company 3 years ago to Outreach. So he started and successfully exited. He's written not one, not two, but 3 books all about selling. So he's sort of the guru of this next generation of sales and what sales is going to look like as we go totally tech. Kelly, I know, next time for sure. But he's really great. He's also an angel investor. He has 55 plus companies in his portfolio. So if you know anybody who is into sales and is into kind of hacking sales funnels and B2B processes, they are not going to want to miss Max next week because, again, he is kind of a rising star in this field. So I feel so thankful that we were able to snatch him and that he's able to join us. So again, as always, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to cheers you with not just my coffee, it's tea, but also my cupcake. I'm going to cheers myself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I so appreciate it. And Martin, I'm happy you joined us for your first LinkedIn Live. It is definitely not TikTok. I did not dance. I will not subject you to that. It's way cooler than TikTok, just saying, because we also learn a lot here. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the week, and I will see you next Wednesday with Max. Cheers.